Hello and welcome everyone, welcome to another Russian cast, and today we're having a look at a game played on the Korean server by Neater in the mid lane. The mid lane, Viego, and we are starting off with a bang, with a little bit of an invade. Same plan for both of the teams. This has been happening in the higher reloads a lot lately. People just running down into the bottom lane, getting that counter gank. Obviously here, the Maokai team, very likely to be generally disadvantageous. However, Cyan actually got a good Q off there, and yeah, this is a little bit of a kerfuffle. Obviously, Pyke starting it out with a bang, flash queuing, and I mean so far, very good cancel, but so far only Ashe has lost her ghost, which doesn't really do that much. Nidalee is limited by her spears, or by her manners, so she can't throw that many spears, otherwise she will go during the clear. Right now, nothing to worry about at all, as Maokai will be starting on his blue buff and Nidalee on her red buff, both in proximity to the bottom lane where the fight started, so we can track that. And he's going off against a Cyan mid lane, which is going to be probably a more counter pick. So I'm very much looking forward to how this one is going to go. Already is giving CS here, which is not optimal. Cyan very, very strong versus Viego. And as you can see, just poking him down. Has Mana Flow Band and Scorch the Cyan, or at least Scorch. Yeah, at least he has Scorch. We can actually figure that one out. Yeah, he's running Mana Flow Band and Scorch here, which is very interesting. Okay, need her finding an all-in angle here. The Ignite is procced, and the Flash WQ, and he manages to get away from the Cyan as well. Can't get away from the Cyan passive, unfortunately, but that was a good angle, and generally not too bad. I mean, the Cyan did push the wave a little bit, so I think Neater could have just recalled and he would have been in a better situation, but we decided to stay. Now 1 EQ and you are in trouble. 1 EQ that lands, that is. Obviously you have your W as a reasonably effective tool, but now you can just be zoned by the Q, obviously, if that's not up. So gotta be careful. He is staying in lane though. He is choosing to stay in lane. Meanwhile, Maokai finding an engage here onto the Jace. Jace obviously stronger in the 1-for-1. As Gragas trying to catch up, Maokai flash, the Jace flash goes over together with the Nidalee as well. That is a dead Maokai for sure. Ilma has slain Croco. Ashe and Pyke both in the in the middle lane here. Bot lane definitely favorable for the red team here, as the Pyke hook will come out, but Neater will make it back into the fog quickly enough, as the freeze is the thing that they're fighting about here, right? This is Ashe trying to help with the freeze and Pyke zoning away and stopping them from helping with the freeze. So Ashe, actually with a very interesting move there, will go down. And Maokai probably also going to be taken down here. So it is a fiesta and a half. No kills here for Neater, as Croco goes down once again. 0 and 2. And this Viego player has his work cut out for him. Already behind. As I want to point out how everyone converged upon the freeze and the unfavorable minion lane state here. in order to get the Viego further behind. And it worked out. So very, very impressive play. Very smart play. Right? And, you know, Nidalee, as a result of it, is 3-0. So definitely nothing to scoff at, you know. This obviously also only works in higher relos where, you know, people will fight around this. But the fact that the jungler identified that the lane state was so favorable for her mid laner and then just ganked over and over again to maintain it. Definitely something that you can replicate in your solo queue games. Just use these F keys, have a look at the laners' lane states and, you know, help them out. Maintain them, for example, if it's a freeze. Especially if you have something like a Sion, who's very good at controlling wave, obviously. So definitely pretty spicy, I would say. All right, well, need her. Ooh, actually, to the red team though. We'll go the first dragon. It is an ocean dragon. Honestly, ocean dragon is pretty decent this early. It falls off rapidly, but it is pretty decent. Sion ultimate into the team fight here, as Varus will take down the Ashe. That is a double kill for the Varus, as Needher will find Pyke for first. The hook, the E comes out. Nidalee has to flash here, and Needher will have to be on his way. And I mean, he did pick up a kill out of this whole thing, right? So he did benefit, but his team once again in a really bad spot here. So that does suck. We find a short little engage onto the Sion. Sion taking a lot of damage, but Varus will trade back the damage in a kill. So definitely not a worthwhile trade here for Needher. Excuse me, I'm still a little bit sick, so casting is a little bit of a questionable thing right now, but you know, I do what I can to keep this entertaining nonetheless. But I might have to mute myself because I've still got the sniffles. All right, Viego moving up into the top side now here. Yep. Makes the decision to not, because 3 people around, probably a little bit too much to deal with. So we just go back and take care of our lane. This Pyke. Oof. Almost getting a kill here onto the Gragas. Definitely interrupting that teleport back though. Cancelled auto attacks. I saw that. Sion. Ready to set the trap. He knows it's unrealistic. Okay, as the W of Viego is a super good tool for dodging skill shots, because it's generally very, very quick in the way it comes out, right? You don't have to charge it for long, but you can. And so it's very modular, right? If you know you have a little bit of time, you can dodge like that, or otherwise you just jump over real quick. Get yourself out of that queue. And I mean, you know, Sion is not a Renekton, but I'm sure that Sion will be stacking up and will be getting stronger. All right. So Needher is just going to sit around here in the mid lane for now. We are looking for gank opportunities. Obviously, Gragas pushed in the top side, so not really anything there. Bot lane isn't in bot lane right now. Although calling this Pyke a bot laner is a little bit of a misnomer. I think that would have to be mid laner at this point. Sion ultimate will catch no one, but Needher will catch the Pyke once again as the hook. And the Q will be very, very strong here, yeah. As he finds the Nidalee, hops on out of the Q as Varus though super scary. The Q flash out of Needher just to get himself to safety range versus this Varus. He will take down the Scion, but not take Scion's Spirit. Alright, that worked out pretty well. 4-1 for our protagonist here. That's definitely not a bad look. As in top lane, the CS gap is furthering. Jace seems to be very, very strong at this current point in game. As Ashe acquiring a solo kill here onto the Pyke. Ashe level 6 versus Pyke not being level 6. The Ashe arrow misses, unfortunately. Varus will be able to get out scot-free. Meanwhile, I didn't actually realize this, but Needher pushed in the bot wave. And will be making his way now to the mid lane again. Top lane turret goes down, as did the top laner. And yeah, the lead is overwhelming. It is very scary to play Viego versus this strong of a Nidalee and a Jace. Beautiful spear, by the way. Snuck that through right into the minion. Pyke, we have to expect it, is going to be here, of course. Alright, we're gonna try and take all the CS that we can. Obviously, as a ranged mid laner, that would be much, much easier. And you're just hanging out in the fog, looking for an opportunity. Obviously, sometimes people overextend into the fog because they expect you to be somewhere else. And if you can play around that, that is very, very strong. Scion looking to find a Q here onto the Ashe. So far hasn't been able to. Scion ultimate coming out way too late here, as the transform will not be available. However, Ashe just giving away some gold today. Scion passive takes down the Jhin as well. I don't know what this bot lane is on about, but they are absolutely painfully incompetent. Underestimating Scion passive like that as well. I wonder, so as Viego, you get passives, right? Do you get Scion passive? Probably, if that was possible, probably for the short time that your possession lasts, but then no longer. As Needher will take down the Nidalee, but he will, instead of transforming, he will just get the hell out of there. No point in fighting versus 3, as he does have 5 kills. However, he is kind of the only one who's very strong in the enemy team. And Jace about to hammer that home, that point. Yeah, taking down the Ashe, and he will get himself to safety. Temporary. As we do realize that Pyke just gives over a kill. As we do realize that he ends up going down to the Ignite. I mean, generally not a bad trade here for the red team. But that was quite unfortunate. Good flash. Good flash out of the Jace. Greg is catching up in farm just a little bit. And Scion is doing Scion things. I mean, at this point, we've seen it. You know, this is just what Scion players do. Scion is just a great champion right now. Great champion to play against, to play with. On your team, they always feed the enemy mid. On their team, they feed you as well and your mid, but they also just take the entire enemy base, so it's always great. Ooh, we have a little bit of a fight here. I wish I had a zoom out angle, because there's a lot going on here. As Pyke looking for the Q here. Doesn't Q the Jhin, weirdly enough. Ashe arrow will go wide once again. The Gragas ult will get Scion into the team. Now the problem with this is that Scion can wreak a lot of havoc, but apparently didn't really do anything there, to be honest. Which is kind of weird, dude. I wonder why that was. But yeah, Jace not really finding the poke here. As the Varus, though, definitely finding the poke. Varus going lethality Varus as well. Pyke just fishing. Jace just fishing and poking. As we are taking down the Herald. Nearly on the off angle, but will not steal that away. And the mid lane turret now under a lot of pressure as Varus and Jace can make short work of it. However, red team's got their backs, yeah, and they will defend the turret successfully for now. Nearly still in that off angle, trying to do some poking. Prodding will be caught out now though, and that is the Viego transforming. As he will look for a spear here in a second, probably a WQ onto the Varus. Doesn't opt for it because Sion is scary. He is still 50% HP, so he still has a chance. Well, actually, he has 1000 HP, so it's 2000. Pyke just being an annoying little joke that he is. Pyke will make his leave, and so will Viego, finally. He does have the Blade of the Rune King and is working his way towards a... Well, I would probably guess this is a Kraken Slayer, right? So, making his way towards a Kraken Slayer. Obviously, the Noon Quiver pickaxe combo pretty much indicates either... Ooh... Gragas ultimate available here as Varus will be knocked into the team and will go down. Croco finding himself a little bit out of position here. So we will take down Ilma on the Jace. Ooh. You're not available here as the Sion ultimate goes into nothingness. Just like most of the Ash Arrows, but last Ash Arrow was an absolute success. It's good cues here by the two tanks. Well, Neither and the actual tank. And that is pretty good, right? So, Kraken Slayer Jhin. What? Is there an interaction that I've missed? That is so weird. Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna... I have no clue about this build. I'm gonna research it. I'm sorry, I'll research it. Alright, so... Obviously, we still have the Demonic, even though it got nerfed. Still have the Demonic classic angle here on the Maokai. This is a very common build. Alright, Kraken Slayer probably available here for the Viego now. Who does love himself some true damage. As he will cancel the recall. Mid lane fight. Once again, my throat is incredibly sore. That was a Kraken Slayer auto attack there. Didn't really do much though. Okay. Last ultimate shot. Has to be a big one. It was the opposite of that. As Neither will take down one though. And the Nidalee. Dude, I would have stayed so much longer in the Nidalee here. I think he could have taken a kill. Yeah, I'm very sure he could have taken a kill there. So weird. Okay, the W will find the sign, hold him in place for a little bit longer, but you gotta be careful. Yeah. The W is back up on cooldown, but you will be juggled like a boss in an MMO. As Jace will take him down. That is pretty rough. That is very rough. Now Kraken Slayer and Blade of the Rune King available finally. As I'm expecting him to move into an Infinity Edge afterwards. As there's more fighting. Sion can't stop, won't stop. Jace cancelled. Once again. Gragas ultimate cutting off a potential flash out of the Sion, and the Sion will go down. And yeah, I mean, Cyan players, they do have this tendency to just grieve it off. And no, this is not the bows. It cannot be the bows. I have just watched the bows on EU. This cannot be the bows, okay? Ooh, good spear by Nidalee. Varus just takes her down. As Nidalee will be bound here. No Gragas ultimate available right now, but the Varus poke is overwhelming. As Nitro will pick for himself up a red buff here. He's very low HP. But famously, obviously, there's one champion that doesn't care about that too much. And that is the Viego. Nidalee will be setting up some traps. Nidalee very good at controlling those objectives. Obviously, Maokai even better. We have another fight. The Cyan ultimate goes into nothingness as it always does in high elo, but still finds its mark in a certain way. Still deals damage to the Maokai, who will end up going down. Jhin ult now, like shooting fish in a barrel, just that he has to hit. Doesn't hit his shots and just hits the tank, the big frontliner. And Nidher is still looking for a reset and still hasn't found one. But don't fret. This is very, very common with Nidher. Is the fight will be over and then eventually he finds one. And it all goes south from there for the enemy team. Nidher will be moving away here from the objective, giving it up and moving into the mid lane. Catching a little bit of farm, I guess, and just, yeah, move his way down to the side lane here. Picking up the Scuttle Crab on the way. And now this blue team has the Baron buff available here, so we'll see what exactly they can take down. Nidher already working on the bot lane turret and keeping that one healthy. Well, healthy, yes. It is definitely not healthy. Alright, so the dragon fight. Now, Gragas will not find the Everfrost onto the pike, and that would have been a surefire way to start off the fight with a bang, but unfortunately didn't quite work out, as the Varus R will catch Gragas. Beautiful damage reduction here by Gragas, now drinking a sip from his cask, as Nidher just getting randomly poked out, and that is the scary thing here. As Pyke now hunting down the side angle here onto the Ashe, and it is a scary freaking situation, as the poke, Ashe will flash out of the way, the roots will find no one, and that is a push forward here by the blue team into the red space instead, transferring the fight from the dragon pit where it is difficult to poke him out, transferring it over. As Nidher will be taken down here by the Varus. Oh my god, this Varus is on fire! And that is a rough situation, if I've ever seen one. We see the chainmail coming out, which means it is most likely going to be a death stance here. Could be a GA, but I'm expecting the death stance. Varus, the W will be found, and the Gragas flash will secure Jin's life. Nidalee is on her way though, so we gotta end this quickly and gotta take this objective quickly. Fourth shot available, and that is the fourth shot together with the cask, and the red team will take down the Baron at the dragon, but at the cost of so far just the Gragas ultimate, as Jace will just be taken down by another fourth shot. Another raid boss felled, as Nidher find himself tanking a spear here, but will eventually succeed in, with his team, tanking out the Cyan. You transfer into the Cyan, you get the items, so big HP values here available for Nidher, as he can take the Cyan ult, the Cyan passive easily. Alrighty. So, Nidalee will be found by an Ashe arrow. Gragas not really in range here. very, very close, but not really in range. He would have needed ultimate for that. Unfortunate. Did use his flash to save Jhin there and turn the dragon fight, which ended up as a big successful fight. Obviously taking down the Jace as well, as Neither acquiring another pickaxe for himself. He now has Merc Treads as well. And I've recently seen a build on the Viego by The Builder on YouTube. And he proposed a build of Trinity Force and Phantom Dancer and Navori Quickblades. And I must say it is absolutely not correct. He called it mathematically correct, but it is... I mean, damage numbers don't work out. Like, the damage numbers are definitely not... They don't work out. The spikes are not synced up with what you want to do as Viego. And it's kind of rough. But he prefaced his video with saying Viego is a super difficult champion to build. And I absolutely agree with it, as obviously building items on Viego kind of matters. And then also it doesn't matter at all, right? So... I've tried a couple of things, but in theory, right, the way Viego acts, obviously you would want something like lethality on it. So what I want to try in the next couple of days is I want to try the Eclipse, as Eclipse has been one of my highest damage items in testing, actually, as a mythic item. Beautiful Gragas engage here, as he will find the Jace, also finds the Pike. Pike will get out with his feet in his hands, as we Germans would say. I shouldn't have said that, as Neither will catch the Scion. Now he is a formidable how did Nidalee not... Oh, beautiful flash W forwards. The ignite is dropped onto the Nidalee. Nidalee will get herself out of that situation though, and that is too bad, as we did invest our flash and our ignite into it, and she does not go down. The Ghost here coming out of the Varus. The Ashe ultimate will not hit. However, Neither will hit. And now, for a couple of seconds, you could feel that power of the Varus. Unfortunately, no one there to poke. So we are just going to deal some damage to the turret here. And look for some more resets. Maybe give me a Jace. Could be great. Something to counter poke, as the Scion ultimate will... Ooh, find the 80 carry. As Scion in this team, you cannot cast your Q without getting cancelled, as Jhin will save his auto attack for the last hit, bind the Scion in place, and Scion feels absolutely terrible about what just happened, because he just couldn't do anything. You just stuck there, standing there, can't even cast your Q. Ultimate hit the 80 carry, but that was all the damage he dealt. Not really that good. The Ashe ult going very wide, actually. As the fight continues, we are now hooking the enemy into our lines, but Gragas actually being formidable tank here with his AP items, interestingly enough. Still taking the brunt of the poke here and making it out alive. A Scion now teleporting in, and that means that the strong front line has arrived, and it is going to be very difficult here for the red team to withstand that, as obviously Maokai still doing Maokai things, able to set up the little saplings here on the bush. Pike finds an engage onto the Gragas, which absolutely does nothing. Gragas will go golden, as Viego will pick up one, and he will look for the Jace, but Jace, beautiful flash out of the way, will take down Neither. And unfortunately only Pike so far went down here for the blue team, which is not enough, believe it or not, as pretty relevant Maokai ultimate. And that was just such a disjointed fight. Blue team actually very, very good at picking apart here the red team. Honestly, like from a tactical standpoint, this solo queue team would probably win versus NA teams, just in rotation and so on. So I think that's very good for not being in voice chat, obviously. Very well coordinated. I like it. You know, Obviously, at a certain point, you don't really need coordination if you're all seeing the same game. And you're all knowledgeable, right? Coming back to LS's point about, you know, how language gaps. As long as the information is exchanged, doesn't really matter. Ooh, Maokai taking a lot of damage, but he will make his way to a safe haven right now. And obviously tried chasing a Maokai, that's got them right, as the Ashe, the W, and that is a kill onto the Varus, and that is massive damage now going over to the red team here, and that is all you need for Need Her to carry the fight. Need Her will make his way out of the sticky situation. Cyan still chasing after him. Hey! You're not me! I know it deep down in my soul. Chases him down. Little weird, but I get it. Pyke looking for Nidoher. Jace is around. Nidoher held his ultimate this entire fight, and he will be able to get himself to safety. Nidoher now also with the death stance and a stopwatch. Stopwatch, very good call with that Varus ultimate, with the Jace poke. You know, high damage projectiles that are very dodgeable with a stopwatch. Stopwatch, really good against high damage projectiles. Or just high CC projectiles. Because you stay inside of your team, right? Stopwatch also good for divers. But sometimes as a diver you can find yourself stopwatching and then the enemy team is still around, who would have thought. And you go down anyway. Also here my petition to make stopwatch be a nerfed Zhonya's. That lasts for half the time. I think that would be great. Sign. Pushed around, moved around. Ultimate will find the Maokai. Maokai pressing the R button. And tanking a lot of damage. Pyke held in his tracks. The red team will assert dominance here over the bot side jungle of the blue team so far. We are setting up control wards, clearing out vision as the Jhin ultimate will not find anything. That's kind of unlucky. I mean, Jhin's items, they look pretty scary, except the Kraken Slayer, which I don't know. I just don't. I don't understand it. But it is what it is. I mean, every third shot being true damage would be great, but every third shot dealing added true damage? Don't know. As the GA now available here for Nidoher, that's absolutely great. And actually Pyke being picked out here is pretty sick. I mean, obviously no objective coming up right now, so it is kind of low value here, as we are trying to coordinate right now. The Jhin just picking up farm wherever he can. Nidoher being annoying, delivering that Baron buff whilst being reasonably safe in comparison to something like the Ashe at least. He is sitting in his Vape Nage. Flash W, but the W will miss the Jace, and so Jace will live with a flash of his own. Still had to invest the flash, but Maokai might be found out of position here, but he is incredibly tanky. He will be taking a lot of damage, but eventually goes down as the Cyan ultimate will pursue him, and that is the main tank going down with the dragon right about to spawn. That is not a good look. So the best guess here for the red team is to kind of keep the blue team contained for now. Just take the objective, stall them until Maokai is back up available again. But obviously there's a lot of pokes, so you have to be very careful as, yeah, beautiful spear lands onto the Ashe. Just Nidalee kind of giving away a kill here. Nidalee will go down. Nidoher also goes down for now. Will be resurrected though thanks to the GA as Gragas moving in boldly, and he will be able to live for now, but the ultimate will catch him, the Pyke ultimate that is, as Nidoher will pick himself a kill onto the Jace, but onto the Cyan, but no transform. Picks up a kill onto the Pike as well, and unfortunately wasn't expecting that he will go down eventually, but very good job of him. He did the brunt of the damage there, that fight, obviously. Jhin also not to be underestimated. And that means that now no dragon has to be taken. This will just be the end. Beautiful job. Unless Varus is able to pull it out, but no. That is a GG, and thank you very much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one in a hell of a chaotic game, actually. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Stay awesome.